But yes, for this session, we are going to start where we left off in our dreams. Kronk's already had his adventures for the night.
Good times. Good times.
He didn't quite get a dream, but he woke up. I'm gonna start with Oog.
He's coming back.
Oh, okay.
Let him cook.
He was more trying to save me.
Every time you said let him cook, it reminds me of that dude off Godzilla. Let them fight.
Let
Who's letting who cook?
We're letting you
everyone
cook, apparently.
Why am I cooking? What am I cooking? Who's
I
cooking?
don't
I
know.
don't know. What are you cooking when we play D&D when I come up?
Well, I'm probably going to take some steaks over to the smoker.
You had me at steaks.
Apparently, I'm just derailed.
You sealed the
Meat's
deal
on
with
the
Smoker.
menu.
Meat's on the menu, boys.
But you good, Oog?
I'm good. I shouldn't be moving around for a minute.
Oof, Tyler, you should have put those in a different order. We'll get to you though. We're starting with
That's fine.
Oog.
Yep.
Oog by far has the most nice dream, let's say.
Tranquil?
Because yes, Oog finds himself, well, since it is your home, why won't you describe it?
I'm in a tranquil,
Hey,
poison
I've got to
hot
be dead,
spring.
so I got to step away for a second.
Okay.
Okay.
He did already go on adventures.
Yeah, no, he's already done his stuff. This is just catching everyone up, really.
And he probably read what my dream is.
Yeah, everyone has access. I just trust you guys to not meta essentially at this point. If I
I'm
need
Takes like
to, I
dreaming.
can.
90% of the fun out of it.
Yeah. But yeah.
Understandable. Yes, I'm just zenning out in my family zen garden.
But what are you interacting with? This is your dream. You could be doing Tai Chi or yoga in the place that you came conscious, or you could go over to the hot springs. You could. What do you want to do?
I'd like to take in a deep breath and see if anything catches my eye as I observe my surroundings as I slowly come into consciousness of my dream.
You would notice, like, a few of your cousins maybe talking about some strategy games. You would notice maybe a few servants walking around doing their chores. It's just very much you're back home in a place much more comfortable than a cauldron on a wooden cart.
It's too peaceful.
Give me a
I
roll.
say.
Flat roll. This is
Just a flat
Dreamscape.
roll?
Yep.
11.
As soon as you think that one of your cousins that was talking with, I'm gonna say a servant, about some strategy games that he recently learned, he was just like, yeah, I can show you how to play. And he instantly jabs his hand into his servant's chest, grabbing his heart, pulling it out, and then putting it in the servant's mouth. You see, now you lose. You already lost.
I cock my head a little bit and like, this is a fucking dream.
I don't know. Sounds like a game I'd play.
It didn't it didn't take enough time to be a proper game.
But
Maybe your
yes,
cousin. I'm not here. Don't worry about me.
I would say your kind is very, at least its mindset is very akin to, say, the OG, like, kind of werewolf vibe goblins, the furry ones back in the day, you know, with like more of a, they essentially look like tiny werewolves.
Mm-hmm. Like a horror frog
Yeah. Um, but like
or
your
welcoming
mindset are
frog.
very similar to where yes, you have your regal ways. You're very much a species of
Violent.
chaos, violence, and absurdity, really. So that was very much a game for your kind. It just probably wouldn't be a good game to play with royals.
And the fact that that they did it to a servant that was probably very hardly trained.
Yeah, no, as far as you know, the servant fucked up in some way, and again, this isn't even a real life, it's just your dream.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, after I noticed this interaction and it doesn't, apparently it doesn't phase me too much, but it still feels odd for what I perceive as what should be my home.
mm-hmm.
I proceed to wander around looking for something that uh, catches my eye and a snack.
I'm gonna leave you wandering your dreamscape because there's really not much to really interact with. I mean, it's your dream. You can do whatever you want. You're not having a nightmare controlled by someone else. It's very much in your control. So you would very much easily find like the kitchen with, I'd say, 8 servants of a different species, but very much low on the totem pole, like making uh, an assortment of croquets, like beef buns, like a weird variety of food, and like cherry cobbler.
That type of thing going on.
Yeah, just very
I just pick up a poison cobbler and I start munching on it and go back to meditating in the Zen garden then.
wonderful. We will leave you there and we will cut over to I'm gonna cut over to Tulio's streams. Now, when you fell asleep, you were in a very good drunken stupor. Um, but as you lay in the pile of coins with Kronk cuddling, and he like chitters to a squirrel to something that you don't quite understand, but it's to Abercrombie, so like nothing bad. And Abercrombie scurries off out the window, and you fade into your sleep. You do find yourself standing there in a thicket in the woods. But these are no woods you've ever stepped in before. The dirt is a barren, gray soil. The trees are. The bark is blue, but the wood itself and like the leaves are like black and with weird golden mushrooms growing on them. And yes, you find yourself frozen as you stand there looking around frantically. You see this. Uh, I actually have it written down over here.
That should be in the chat because you did send it to
Yeah, I know I already changed the description a little bit, but
me. Okay.
yes, you're found in. You come conscious in a twilight forest. Around you, the trees are glowing in a blue hue with odd golden mushrooms growing around the trunks. The ground barren gray dirt with the roots of the trees like arching over and springing out and winding and braiding together. Um, in the distance, you see a figure wrapped in these shadowy dark robes. almost blowing in the wind that isn't there. This being's skin only slightly creeps out from what you can see from their hands, a little bit of their neck and their face, but it seems to be solid but glowing like molten lava, and their eyes are a piercing blue that just has you locked in. What would you like to do?
Is there like a roll that I can do to see if I can identify the creature?
You could just try like calling out who are you?
Okay. So like there's no way that I would like have any identifying on what it is.
Not in the dreamscape. You could ask assistance from your patron, since they are a dream patron. Um, but you yourself, I don't think would have any capabilities in this place.
Okay. So this thing's just staring at me, right?
It's like 50 feet into the woods from you, outside of this little thicket that you're like frozen in essentially, and you're just like standing. Actually, I thought, oh, that's on the floor. Okay, yeah, you're standing T-pose, like straight up, like
Okay, so I've like
stiff
clipped through the
T-pose.
terrain. So I clipped through and like I found like the in between. Got it.
It's something like
So if
that,
I
yeah.
find the secret floating chest and I jump up and hit X at the exact right time, I'll get the equipment I'm not supposed to have yet.
Maybe. You aren't sure where you are, what magics would be applicable or even effective in this situation,
Um.
because your body at least, is frozen in place in this. You get a vibe of it's supposed to be like a humiliating pose for you to be frozen in. And yes, this, I wouldn't say terrifying, but definitely odd and uncomfortable being is watching you, and you don't recognize them at all. They aren't one you've interacted with before.
Okay. I'm going. So what I'd like to do then is I'd like to say, Unalos, can you unfreeze me?
You just hear a small whisper in your ear. I'm sorry, my child. My older brother has something that you need to do.
Oh, well, that's all right.
And after you hear this whisper, you see this being raise its arm out of the cloak of shadows, and you see a crystal axe, like blade, shaft, everything, pure crystal, but of different colors and densities and thicknesses throughout. Simply walk over to one of the trees and cuts it down in one swing. Looks over at you, raises his other hand without the axe, beckons you forward. And yeah, you essentially like clip to him.
Awesome.
However, you don't clip through the tree branches.
Oh, delightful.
So you're gonna take uh, 2 psychic
Yeah.
damage, which isn't actually
All
gonna
right.
affect any of your physical stats. Just remember that.
Gotcha.
It'll come up later, maybe.
Okay. Hopefully not.
But yeah, as you're pulled towards him, his mouth opens and smoke bellows out, smelling of sulfur and ash. cut the tree. And at this point, you are sent back to this subliminal space between dreaming and awake, to where you think you hear Kronk walking in, like walking back into the room from leaving for something. And at that, we are going to cut over to Buford. Um, would you like to describe your dream, or would you like me to?
I kind of want to pull up the song.
I'll definitely say you can have that as like your background track, but you wouldn't have your instrument in this space.
Yeah, no, just as background track for intro to what's going on.
Yeah.
So thank Disney's animated Robin in the Hood in the theme song, kids.
We all know it. Don't get me DMC'd. That already happened once with your bullshit.
What? Really?
Copyright.
I got copyright struck for your shit.
Uh,
He just
Well-
sits there and goes, do do do
It's a
do
good thing
do.
we're not
Copyright.
monetizing anything. But
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
more of running through the forest.
Gotcha.
but yes, as Buford essentially
You
gets
can be.
marionetted from the bar from passing it out, all his dreams are is him and his childhood best friend, Little John. Not the same one. It was a crocodile named Gunther, but everyone just called him Little John for some ungodly reason. I'm pretty sure it was Buford's fault, but we won't get into it. But they're just running through the forest, having a good old time. There may or may not be a few arrows, javelins, and other
Sundry
non-properly,
assorted thrown items.
yeah, not necessarily thrown weapons, but thrown items for sure, coming from nowhere behind them. Um, and yeah, I'll take your burning of your luck and dreamscape. I'm still debating if I want to take that, but fine.
Your call.
You know what? No, we're gonna stick with you have no real supernatural abilities. You just have your base abilities, and it's not that bad. But
Really?
as
Well, work up to it. Become a dreamwalker. Fuck it.
you need a little bit of help in these types of places for my worlds. But as they're running through the forest, there's of course a fence, like old wood slat fence that they come across, that they easily vault over. They run over this bridge, and for no particular reason, there's like a wall of fire on the other side. So they're like, oh, obviously, jump in the water. And as they jump down in, they notice that they're actually crocodiles. Now, you would think this would be a bad thing. However, remember, Little John is a crocodile. So they're really just floating down the stream while the end of the song fades out, and they're just like lazy rivering with a bunch of crocodiles.
Classic.
Bare necessities.
But that honestly was all because Buford passed out at the bar, got marionetted back to the cart, and then got thrown into the corner onto your hide pile. So that all ties. um, And Kronk's had his adventures, and yes, Oog is taken care of. So we're going to cut back to Tulio and Kronk. And at this point, Kronk, you're walking back in from your nightly adventure, and you see Tulio, and you see just like one eye is that really weird. How did I describe it? Shit.
It's like a silver, like blue shimmer over my eye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's like a film, like blue shimmer film over his one eye, and then you see another eye that's just like normal blacked out. Like he's like trying to wake up, but like halfway there.
Huh.
I was about to say, at this time, would you like to interact with him? And do you think, Tulio, do you actually wake up, or are you just like, huh? Eh.
Well, I did tell him I'd bite him to wake him up.
That
Because
is
I'm
true.
stuck. So I'm gonna
That
go
was,
ahead and do that.
but that technically was also only an emergency. You had, you requested Abercrombie bite you guys awake, and you would bite Tulio awake.
I'm gonna throw a coin at his forehead.
That definitely wakes up Tulio completely. Even though it's not like hard or anything, you just see this gold coin being thrown at you, and you just have the. Oh, give me the rolls. Do you have the reflexes to try and catch it, or do you just kind of like swat it away like a cat?
I'm gonna try to catch it at
Or
least.
does it hit his
Bet.
forehead flat on?
Intention
I
is
have the-
everything.
I have the background of entertainer, so I'm used to coins being thrown at me. I'm definitely gonna try to catch it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, honestly. Or if you like fumble like a cat and just like
So
fall
yeah,
hanging out.
what
So
number?
yeah, plus it wasn't like I was chucking it. It's just like a little poofa.
Yeah, just a
Is
little
this like an
toss.
acrobatics or what is it?
Dex.
Dex or con save.
Dex. Let's see. So with Dex, 13.
Yeah, you just like almost like a frog's tongue, your hand comes out and snatches the coin mid like arc. And I think
Just
it like Kronk like jumps back a little bit, not necessarily out of fear, just like instincts of oh shit, something's coming at me fast.
Snake.
Oh.
Buh.
do I get to keep this?
Well, sure.
Tulio, you can, or I'm gonna add one soft betting gold coin to your inventory.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, in the worst case scenario, you have a pillow for a fairy.
Put that in my pocket. Get
I have
up.
a feeling that's gonna come in handy at some point.
It might. Who knows? Oh, stretching out.
This is gonna be funny. It's going under gold coin pillow magic.
So, Tulio, we got kind of a possible issue, if you will.
What is the issue?
So, Abercrombie woke me up last night, and when I woke up, I noticed somebody in the window. And Abercrombie said they'd been paying attention to us since we got here.
I think that the tree really is tracking us. I think we're gonna have to get rid of it.
Fat chance of that. Not only we can't, I like it. Kinda grown on me.
Well, did Abercrombie see who was watching us? Like any facial features, anything like distinctive?
Couldn't really give me anything. I also didn't ask. So, but I do have him tracking.
Okay. Well, in that case, it sounds like we need to sit back and wait for Abercrombie to come back.
I was about to say, by the
Or-
time you come back and Tulio's waking up, you would just barely be able to see like the early morning orange sun hue in the horizon of the sea down the coast. Um, so it's like maybe 6 a.m.
They were paying attention to us ever since we showed up.
That's what it told me. Now, I don't know about you, but I kind of want to get to know the lay of the land around here. You want to go with me while these other fuck monkeys sleep?
Sure, I can go with you.
I guess we'll make our way out to the gate and.
Oh yeah, how do we
I'll-
get out of the gate? It's a fucking solid copper wall.
There'd have to be a guard there. There's no way that it's not got someone posted up 24/7.
So
Goes
as
up,
you
it's just got a sign out to lunch.
Hey man,
Wall closed until 12 p.m.
So as you guys discuss where you're gonna go, as Tulia like wakes up, sloughs off the coins, they clang and clatter as they fall back into the bed pile. I think Buford would definitely be waking up about this time, but Buford, when you wake up, you're waking up upside down essentially, with like half your body in your little nest of leathers and kind of half out, kind of like just strewn out. Not like uncomfortably, but not put a lot of thought about how you were laying. And you just wake up to seeing them upside down walking from the back of the kitchen.
When
Morning,
did you?
Bernie. Bye, Bernie.
When
Oh,
did they start walking on the ceiling?
Tyler, give me a con check.
Check.
How fucked up are you from last night?
well, that doesn't look very comfortable at all.
Just a check.
He is also a half orc, so like sleeping in the barn isn't anything unusual just for a nap or something.
16.
So yeah, no,
Y'all
you're not
orcs are-
hungover at all. You're just kind of confused as to why you're upside down. You haven't quite woken up enough to be like, what?
Mm,
But
roll out and see if I can find anything that's kind of like coffee in the kitchen.
as you walk over and across, like in front of Tulio and Kronk as they're like making their way out, they're not quite there yet. But you go over and you just see, Oog's cauldron full of very uh thick purple slime at this point, mucus, I suppose.
How many C's is on that thick?
There's a
I'm gonna
K.
say at least 3 C's and 12 Ks.
God damn.
Damn, it's thick.
It's a
It's
multiple
yellow.
day. It's a multiple day stew.
We are making the proper poison.
But I think as you walk that way, the first light would be peeking through like the front bay window of the cart that looks out onto the porch and the like front bench, and the light comes in and like hits the top of Oog's pot, and then the whole cart is like hue lit up purple,
Yes.
very much like a disco ball, but it has like weird bubbles floating around that you don't see anything in the pot bubbling at all. But in the light, you see like bubbles on the walls, the reflections and shadows. And I think you might even see the faint outlines of bonsai trees along the baseboard of the cart.
Mm, that's weird. Are the bubbles like they're just like imprints? They're not free floating in the room from what I can see.
Correct. They're just like projections onto the wall, as
Okay.
if you like put a light up to a bubbling liquid.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But no, you don't find any
That's weird.
coffee or anything like that because no one made any.
I can't find any grounds or anything.
This ain't your kitchen. Hey Kronk, how do you feel about Buford waking up in his stupor, like not even acknowledging you outside of why are you on the ceiling? And then just start rummaging through your kitchen trying to find
Boy,
coffee.
what the hell are you doing in my kitchen?
Need coffee.
Well, that would be great if we had any.
What kind of douchebag with a rolling kitchen does not have some fucking coffee?
One that can wake up naturally and is rather well physique. You are looking at Kronk.
I stand by my statement.
Monster.
Hey Kronk, give me a flat roll.
14.
So you can veto this, but in my mind, Kronk just looks at Buford whenever he says coffee, and you're like, we are a green tea house, young man.
Yes! Yes!
And you
Because
pull like
that.
a little tea bag of green tea literally from nowhere but the air, and you're like, here.
Here, son. You're gonna want to drink this.
I'll pinch it between two fingers of my non-dominant hand. And is there a tea kettle on the stove?
Yes, I would say there is a tea kettle sitting right next to Oog's pot. There's no
I will
splash
check-
That's
over or
risky as
anything.
shit.
I will check the purple. I will check for purple contaminants. I'll give the
Considering the entire room is lit up in purple right now, it's kind of hard to see purple.
I'll give the kettle a little bit of a shake, see if it's dry or got water in it.
It is dry.
I'll go outside and
Dry and crusty or dry
get
and clean?
water from the barrel.
Okay. Yeah, no, and as you walk outside, you inspect it again just to make sure, like inside and out and like everywhere, it's perfectly clean.
Tulio,
Somehow,
can you
Saf,
believe the disrespect of these kids?
uh, but yeah, it's perfectly clean. You get some hot water, and at this point, whenever you're walking out, I think uh, Tulio and Kronk would also be walking out to head towards the gate. Oog, you can wake up anytime you'd like. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
Back.
It's like straight definition.
cover it
of
up, cover it
God
up.
has left the chat.
Yeah, no, my Discord literally just like shut down on me for no reason. Um,
We definitely didn't do a repeated cast of Fireball directly in the center of all of us while you were gone.
oh, that's too bad because I already rolled for it.
Shit.
Here's the
I've
fun
never seen
part.
him
I'm not
left
with
the
them.
chat.
The better part is I don't think
Okay.
any of us have access to Fireball yet.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's why it's not you guys casting it. No.
Oh
Oh
shit.
shit.
Anyway, what was the last thing y'all heard?
We were outside of the cart.
Yeah,
It was
Yes.
Buford.
ready to leave
Yeah.
the cart.
Yes, so as Buford is walking out to get more water, the kettle's perfectly clean and fine, and at that same time, Kronk and Tulio would be heading out, I would think. And
Mhm.
yes, Oog, you can wake up anytime you want. I just wanted that little dazzle and flare. I wanted to use your slime.
A slime.
Oh.
All right. I will.
Julio, give me
I
1
will
second.
slowly wake up since
Mhm.
everyone else is waking up.
I would like to go back in really quick, take out my mace, and throw it as hard as I fucking can at his fucking pot.
Oh shit! You're gonna make a mess. Are you sure you want to do
Well,
that?
if you wish to do that, I will say, as you're walking back in, you would probably see Oog's like head slowly, like barely rising over the top of the water, but his eyes are very much still trying to focus.
Okay, then I'm not gonna do that. Uh,
Um, but yes, I would say Oog would be able to tell a very large Kronk-esque figure walks in and picks up a mace.
There's only one fucker with that size.
That would be able to
oh,
get
And
into this cart.
usually the shadow demons aren't this big.
Oog, get up, clean your pot.
Do we
Well,
have a
my
water
pot.
source other than in the back?
Yes, there would be a well
It's a
available in the
coastal area,
same.
right?
Yes, you are on the coast, but since there are tiered levels to the city, there are wells on each level, and with where you guys parked in the main square of this tier, there is one like 20 feet away. Like right in the dead
What's
Um,
center.
Af doing, by the way?
Give me a investigation check because as you walk out, Tulio, I do think you would look for Saf and you would just notice initially that Saf's harness is empty.
Uh, 23.
You would notice that Saf is sitting on top of the gate, like dead eyeing the cart, almost as if he's in a daze. Or they.
Wrong? Why is Saf up there?
To be honest with you, he was up there earlier when I went walking around. I choose not to ask him questions when I know he's doing something that's probably protecting us.
Fair point.
But remind me, I want to fix him a really nice meal because of what a great job he's done for us in not eating us.
indeed.
The not eating us is nice.
I agree. Last thing I want is to get my ass kicked by a chimera like you guys did.
I didn't. I have stayed away from fighting Saf. I've ran from him, but that's about it.
This is true. Technically, you've played with Saf. At least in his eyes. But yes, you would
Yeah.
see Saf standing on top of this copper gate, and in the morning sun, you can see that this side of the gate is. Let me get my notes.
Notes.
Um, you would notice, like, this is the prime time to see the city with the morning sun, the full hue of the ozone with those bright oranges and yellows bouncing off of this pure copper city. It just glows with a vibrant orange hue. But you also notice that there's almost intricate yet undecipherable gilding of pearls throughout this gate.
Can I like take a second to see if they're arranged in any like patterns I can make out?
Give me a history check.
Hey, I'm good at that.
I'll say, you would have some history, maybe.
That's actually one of the things I took proficiency in, and I usually don't. Um, dirty 20.
You would recognize that these pearls are arranged in a fashion that is supposed to signify the ebbs and flows of the waves and the shifts of the moon. You aren't quite sure why, but you definitely recognize it from an old text that maybe one of your parents kept in their study.
Okay. Hmm. Maybe that's why they drew.
Give me a wisdom check.
Okay. That's not bad. 18.
So I think as you stare at this pattern, because they're just specks and spaced out like 10 feet apart, if you just glance at it, you would miss it. You would notice that one of the pearls is red, and it corresponds with a date that is coming up in maybe a day or two, if your math is right.
Okay.
But like, it's this one red pearl out of this giant copper wall, essentially, with rivets and, yeah, just these dazzling pearls, easily the size of your head, but they're also like 200, 300, 400 feet away from you at this point.
Okay.
Because you guys came down to the second tier to make camp.
Right. Hmm. Keep that info tucked away nice and neat on my note. Think about
Hmm.
that here.
But yes, Kronk, where were you going with Tulio? Sorry.
Just out to fucking shoot a couple of animals and come back.
Morning routine.
Fair. So you want to try, so you're going to the gate.
Yeah.
Okay. Oog, do you want to go with them? Because you would notice them like talking outside and be conscious enough to hop out and go do that, or you can listen to Kronk and start cleaning.
Because I figured it'd still
Um,
probably be too early for anything to start opening up.
I shout at Kronk, "Hey, do we have a vial or something I can keep some of this poison in?"
I would say you have a like a cupboard full of canning jars that are empty because you've never actually canned anything. You left that entirely up to
I make meat, not cannon.
yeah, essentially is what
Well,
happened. You left that up to the blacksmith in Wellspring. Um, because for the most part she took all of the ingredients and just made food for the whole town, honestly. But yeah, you very much got into you were set up to be fully self-sufficient and like can everything. But once you got here, you were like, oh, I just have to hunt. I don't have to do anything else. But yes, there's plenty of jars and like small glass containers.
well, as a matter of fact, I do. We've got a
uh,
few if you need more than one.
I think we'll only need one for now. I feel like poison of this quality might become handy later on.
Well, then why just one jar when we could have two?
And
Because
as he says
I'm
that, he opens up like two cupboards, like lines stacked with jars and lids, and he's like, or maybe even three,
Three,
as you have 10
three could work.
gallons of this.
I mean,
Don't be so stingy.
I'm more scared what's going to happen if one gets misplaced.
Well, then that won't get misplaced, and we won't treat it to Buford. For the love of God,
Hey, Oog,
don't
give
treat it
me
to Buford.
a wisdom save.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
No, this is for
Uh,
good things.
do I want to add my Oh, where is it? Cause I got like a +4 in wisdom.
Oog. You have a +3 to wisdom.
Okay, so that makes it a 7. Dirty 7.
So as you stand there thinking, like, I don't want someone to accidentally ingest this, thinking it's some weird magic potion, and you just stand there and start like writing on one of the cabinets, poison.
What happens to the cabinet as I do this?
I'm gonna say, since this is purely for RP, I'm gonna say you leave like a purple imprint that could be wiped away or like cleaned off pretty easily, but it's like a dry erase, and you just write it as Kronk stares at you. You don't say anything to him.
And then I turn around and I stick my finger in the pot and taste it for potency.
Does it kill him? Oh, he's immune to his own shit. Never mind.
Mhm. Does
If
it
it
give
killed
off
him,
a
him
very
just
potent
existing, his skin
taste?
is dead.
I've already got
Oog,
+2 potent.
you have resistance to poison, and it is your own. Give me a investigation check. I won't let it hurt you since there's nothing else mixed
18
in.
plus whatever my multiplier is.
Do 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 do. So yeah, you'd be able to tell this would be equivalent to like you could take down one like full-size deer with one potion.
One full bottle or one blade worth?
I would say if you can get it into the circulatory system, it would just have to be blade coated and take a little bit, but it's pretty effective. You haven't tested it
Okay.
yet, Avi, but
I walk back over to the poison and I put skull and crossbones on either side of the word.
wonderful. Kronk, do you
And
want to stay here and watch him do all this, or are you just gonna be like, just don't be stingy and then leave?
Don't be stingy. And I'll leave.
Okay. Um,
he better not get careless.
so I'm going to leave Austin with his ideas of housekeeping of his poison, and we will
You kidding
do
me?
do
We
do
need to
do.
start getting contracts, assassination contracts and shit.
I was about to say, at this point, Buford would be walking back up and like passing Tulio to making his tea, and just walk in, like as Kronk walks out, and yeah, Buford just sees Oog like graffitiing on the cabinet, walking over, tasting it again, adding another skull and crossbones, and then just starts like grabbing jars and starts scooping.
I fill every jar in that one cabinet. Not both cabinets, just the one cabinet.
Bet. That's Loki exactly what I was thinking too.
I was hoping.
That's wonderful. So I'll say that takes you a little bit to get them all because you're trying to be careful and not spill it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, at this point, Buford would be walking in with his kettle, some water, and yeah, just sees Oog scooping and walking all the way across the kitchen to then put it into the poison cabinet.
Why did I even leave home? And I'll turn on the burner farthest away from this operation and start heating up my kettle.
I was about to say, there's a lid to it and all that. It's like a good cast iron kettle. Um, Sounds good. I'll leave you two to your waking up routines, and we're going to cut over to Tulio and Kronk. As you are getting up to the gate, whereas if you remember, there were two guards here when you got here last evening, there is now only one. It
Oh,
is still one of the two. Um, Kronk, it's not the one that you saw earlier on
okay.
patrol, but he is standing there, kind of like just swaying along to a song in his head, still gilded out in his full uh, platinum armor, just like hanging out around the gate, not really doing nothing.
Didn't Buford give them money as he came in?
Yes. Kronk did. Buford.
Kronk did. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember who did. Someone did.
All right. Well, Julio, remind me to make a clip for that cabinet when I get home. A lot of shit. I hope.
Can do. I think all of us can read common though.
Yeah, but I'm worried about the kid. He just yeah.
Yeah, he's big. I don't think it could hurt him that much.
Well, you see, I have no idea. It's just last thing I need is an orc coming after me because his kid died on my fucking. Well, there's no need to tell you what I'm gonna do with him after he dies, but you know.
Nom nom.
Tulio, give me a insight check real quick, if
Yeah.
you could.
That one's not good, so that's gonna be really funny. Insight 9.
So as Kronk's like worrying about Buford's family or parents or whatever becoming upset due to him being lost, you get a slight like tickle in the back of your brain, and you're not sure if this is just your own dark humorous self or if this is something that he said before, but you think Buford's parents are dead.
Hmm.
What's funny?
Just the thought of an angry orc.
I'll give that to you. That is kind of funny.
Like they just get so angry that they just charge at you.
Especially one that plays an instrument and can't fight worth a shit. It's fucking hilarious.
Plus, to be fair, he hasn't charged us anything. But are you gonna do anything, or are you just stalking at the gate with the
Well,
guard? Because like he's not interrupting any of your conversation.
well,
He just kind of notices you and is like, "Oh,
there's only one guard here now. So, do we want to risk there being no guards when we come back, or do we want to kind of walk around the city and say, fuck it?
Aldo, you asked me to accompany you. I'm along for the ride.
All right, walk around the city and say, fuck it, it is.
so where would you like to go now?"
Just around anywhere, really.
While we're walking, Tulia goes, "Oh, I get it. We're waiting for Abercrombie. I understand." Just now waking up.
So I think when
All
you get up to the gate, you'd probably see like a well-beaten walking path that like goes along the edge of the city. Kronk, you would recognize it to be similar as the alleyways you were in last night that were just like 5 to 7 feet away from the actual cliff edge, but none of the buildings actually touch it. So you'd be able to like skirt the outside, hop down each terrace, and like get an outside lay of the land, but you wouldn't have any way to go up at this point.
As we're meandering, are we meandering towards that big red pearl?
Whenever you guys initially got up to the gate, you would probably be able to, but at this point you'd be walking away from the gate.
Okay.
Because, yeah, you guys essentially walked up to like 10 feet away from the guard, had your little conversation, and then walked away.
Sometimes you just gotta walk away.
You hear a small, gruff
No, dude's just
snickering.
like, what did I do? Smells under his arm. Do I smell?
It may have been a few days, but shit. You didn't smell that good last night either.
I don't think any of us have bathed.
But,
I have. Fuck you guys.
Yep, besides Oog.
but as you guys are meandering, we're going to cut back to Oog and Buford in the kitchen. Buford's where are you enjoying your coffee? Because Oog's still very much working on getting all these poisons done.
Buford.
Buford.
Give me a sec.
He's not listening.
Nope.
I wonder if he fell asleep.
I hear walking. There he goes.
I drooped.
You're already passing out?
Dude, it was bad this weekend.
I mean, if you want, you can just stay in the cart and yeah, you can dip for this session.
So, right,
No.
Private, do push-ups.
Let's go.
I
What
was
am I?
asking you where you would like to enjoy your coffee while you watch Oog make his poison since the other two are off meandering.
I beg your pardon, God. It's green tea.
I will go
My
sit on
bad.
the.
Thank you for keeping me honest.
I'll sit on the back porch and drink my tea and look around to see if there's any stores or stalls in this square we're parked in that I want to swing by.
There is absolutely no people in this terrace at all.
Well, that's creepifying.
Like, you'd be able to see up to the next terrace and like the gate from where you're at, since there's a pretty direct and like ramp and road up to the gate, and you'd be able to see one of the guards that's still at their post, but outside of them, and you might be able to see Kronk and Tulio like skirt off to the side at some point, but other than them, you do not notice any sentient creatures around you.
Hmm. No, then I guess I'd sip my tea while he's canning his juices.
You could give me an investigation check to see if you can find people.
I could do that. I'm willing to just go with the flow, though.
Okay.
Investigation. Nat 20.
You would be
Or
able to tell that there is a lot more people, hustle and bustle, and what you would normally call the low roar of a crowd down towards the dock second and third tier. But up here on the seventh tier, you wouldn't have like anybody, and it just like slowly gets more full from the docks up. But the top three tiers are essentially vacant.
then I'll drink my tea with this new information. Hey, Oog, when you're done, do you want to head down to the docks and see what kind of trouble we can get into?
I love that idea. Would you mind pouring me a bit of tea?
No problem.
I need to find a place to properly wash the pot anyhow.
Oh, is it empty?
We're getting there.
Let me know when it's empty. I got you.
It'll
I
be
got a
like
trick.
10 minutes left of scooping some goo until he's filled up all the jars in the cabinet. That only took him like an hour. Um,
I,
but yeah, I'd say it's clean or empty-ish now.
prestidigitation.
That saved us so much time.
It is now hermetically clean.
I take it over to the well and I refill it and put it back where it usually sits. In this way, I do not contaminate the good water. As I sip on the tea he's poured me.
I don't think
Because how
prestidigitation does that.
you instantly clean or soil an object no larger than 1 cubic foot.
And what is this from? Because that's
This,
not what
It's
it
a
says
cantrip.
on D&D Beyond.
yeah,
It ends.
open prestidigitation bard. It's the
I
third bullet
am.
point. It's the third bullet point.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I see it now. Somehow that.
Like
Thank you. I'm done.
prestidigitation is fairly utility.
Yeah, the main thing that I don't like for its main explanation is it's a minor magical trick, more of a sensory effect rather than a cleaning and disinfectant, because that's killing antibodies and microcells and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll take it, because yes, it is there. I'm dumb. But yes, the pot is perfectly clean. Um, you have a cupboard full of oog poison.
Um, I'll hit the cupboard with another prestidigitation to make his marks glow whatever color they are, so they stick out a little more for the next hour.
So the ink slime, I suppose, that he used would be more closer to like a dry erase slime. So whereas it sticks, it doesn't technically have anything but a vague purple glow to it.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it is now.
make it harder to miss. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair. Wunderbar. Um, but yes, as the poison is stashed in cupboard, the purple hue that filled the room as soon as you close the cupboard door like instantly fades and it goes back to the warm ombre hue that is the reflection of the city and the sun rising. It would be fully up at this point, but you and Buford, what would you like to do?
Mm,
Head toward the docks.
yeah, we're planning on heading to the docks.
If I can, we'll just head for the docks for now. See what we find.
Okay. So as you walk down, the way I kind of see this city is it's terraced, but it has one main like road that plateaus on each terrace that is a ramp to the front gate to the dock. So you could walk straight down, or you could take like the side paths and routes, which would have stairs and uh, a lot more side alleys and residential area. Or yeah, you can just beeline it straight down.
Tourist road or adventure time, Oogie?
Adventure, my good sir.
Let's
Left or right?
hang a second. I need to flip a coin. Evens left, odds right. Odds it is. We're taking a right.
So as you cut off to the right and go down into an alleyway, both of you give me a perception check. Ugin, Buford.
Working on it. There it is.
Let's see, my
15.
passive is
Not passive, just roll the perception, Osty. And then add,
17.
there you go, 15 and a 17.
You would notice that you can hear footsteps approaching you from the opposite direction.
Mm, can I intuit if they're aggressive steps or just someone in a hurry or something?
You can't really tell, it's more of a slow walk with a high-pitched click with each step, almost as if they're wearing like wood sandals, and it echoes and rings through the alleyways, so you can't really tell where it's coming from either. But it is a slow walk.
Mm, I'll note it and I'll start strumming. I'll start just playing a filler tune on my hurdy-gurdy, just like scales or whatever. Like,
Tulio and Kronk, give me a perception check.
Huh. Garbage. 7.
Kronk.
23.
Tulio, you...
My dice don't hate me tonight.
Fair. You...
Yet.
Yeah. Tulio, you hear almost like a wounded animal just got struck by something. Kronk, you can easily hear like Buford's hurdy-gurdy in the distance.
Oh. Well, the kid's playing his instrument.
Didn't
Wait,
you tell him to
there's
stop
only
doing that?
there's only one time that little cocksucker plays that instrument. We gotta get back to the cart. I think they're in trouble.
So do you two want to try to beeline it back? Or...
Sure.
Okay.
It sounds like that's what we are doing.
But there is only one time he plays that instrument.
And
that's a
Buford
lie.
and Oog, where as you're going off into these side alleys and getting closer, or seemingly closer and closer, the steps get louder as you take each corner, a left, a right, another left. You're trying to like zigzag your way through just to see what you can see.
I'd like to do an investigation.
Okay.
Trying to investigate for, obviously, location. $21.
Even with a 21, I think the echoing of the metal buildings and ground and like flat stone walls that are surrounding this area, you can't quite make out where it's from outside of maybe closer to the mountainside rather than in between the houses.
Okay.
Is Oog wearing any like full body covering, like cloak or anything? Or is he like pretty naked?
I've got leather armor on and leather gloves so that I don't
Are,
accidentally.
But I believe he is Pooh bearing it.
are you wearing anything on your head?
No.
That's I
I mean,
don't
like,
I think
think
I've
so.
got.
hey, Oog,
Let's
come
see.
here for a second. And I'll take each of my 3 daggers and I'll just swipe them on top of his head before putting them back in their sheaths. Thank
You
you.
know, you should have done that before we left if you wanted to poison your knives. That stuff was so much more potent.
Well, I didn't think I'd have troubles in town, but just in case.
Oh my
Plus, I'm
boy.
not trying to kill anybody.
As I pull out my daggers, would we say they're glowing purple, brightly purple? You can never be too careful.
And now that I've done that, though, I go back to playing, and there once was a warrior grung who visited this dear city. He's poisonous as fuck, so leave him alone. He's scary. Don't fuck with the grung. As we
So,
keep walking.
Austin, as you check your special blade, you would notice that there is a light shining effect to it, but for the most part, due to its color, it's mostly drowned out by the orange reflection of the sun in the city.
Hmm. I want to keep my special dagger partially unsheathed and at the ready.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Um, so do you guys want to continue through
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep
the
on heading towards the shore.
okay.
Heading downhill.
So yeah, you guys make it down and about halfway down the next tier, the walking gets louder and louder until it just stops. You feel uneasy for a second until you turn the next corner, and then just the hustle and bustle and what was silent is now loud. You're now down next to the docks, and you have just turned into like this very active fish market slash trade route slash crowd of people, like easily 40, 50 people just on this small, like one dock off to the side that you guys ran into.
Breakfast.
I put my knife away. Agreed.
We're looking for a street cart.
um, I would
You find the shrimp
say,
taco truck.
Roach coach.
I would say you
Roaches.
see,
The locals would probably tell you not to eat from the street carts.
Look at them and give me a challenge.
so as you walk out, you see two carts, one that has fish and one that has some unknown meat cooking. There are no corpses of said meat, it's just cooking and slabs of meat. Red meat.
I'm good with fish. What do you want, Oog?
I feel like since we're on the shore, we're gonna want something fishy. We've had a
Fish
lot
it
of red
is.
meat.
Okay. I'm gonna leave you two to venture the marketplace and get your food, and we will cut back to Tulio and Kronk. So as you guys start to hear the hurdy-gurdy start playing, you rush back to the cart, and as you get back, you just see Abercrombie sitting on the coach bench, just chilling.
Well, I don't
Abercrombie,
see the others.
what news do you have for us?
Um, so as soon as you walk up and ask, Abercrombie looks up at you and simply says, "There don't seem to be any squirrel or mice or any small creatures in this town."
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not normal.
No, no, it's not.
Tulio, give me a roll.
Yeah, because he is attuned with the squirrel now, right?
Maybe.
Kind
He
of.
has a relationship of sorts.
I don't know what
Understanding.
bonus I'm adding, but I rolled a
None.
5.
Oh,
Um,
I'd say nature.
for this, it's just a flat roll.
No.
5.
So, yeah, as you're standing there and you initially walk up, you hear Kronk like chitter and Squirrel speak. But you hear Abercrombie come through almost like a well-tailored gentleman. And you're
Mhm.
just flabbergasted and confused, and you're not really sure if you should say anything because Kronk is still very much talking in like squirrel speak as you realize this.
I'm just gonna keep watching this very tall man squeak like and chitter like a squirrel.
But yeah. Uh and yeah, we can continue our conversation, Kronk. Was there anything else you needed to know?
Where did that individual go that you informed me about?
I followed them down to the market, but they disappeared into a back alley, and by the time I got there, whereas alone, it's odd that I found a dead end in this city, but there was no trace of them.
Oh, Gronk, remember to ask about what he looked like.
Right. Wait a second. But he's got a point. Abercrombie, can you tell me what he looked like at all?
Sadly, I think he was using some type of magic because I could never make out his face. It just seemed to be a blur.
Well, shit. Alright, well, I appreciate you.
Why, of course. Is there any other service you need me to do today?
Well, keep an eye on the cart, but take a rest. You done a good job.
Very well, sir. And, like, out of nowhere, well, actually, he pulls out of his bushy tail, like, a little green Robin Hood hat with a red feather. Very much iconic. And he, like, tips it to both of you, tips it specifically towards Tulio, and then, like, scurries off as it falls off his head and, like, back into his tail. Almost like
Bye,
it was planned.
Abercrombie.
And yeah, he just like crawls up the tree and like onto the roof and disappears somewhere on the cart. Um, Kronk, give me a insight check.
Ooh, that's a 1 plus
Indeed.
5, so 6.
Was that a nat one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a critical fail.
but it was a check, but that's fine. Yeah, you during this whole conversation could also hear and understand Abercrombie, but that wouldn't be anything out of the normal to you. You did notice a tone change. And Tulio seemed to be very easygoing and understanding, though he's not a very reactive guy, so maybe it's nothing. Um, but yes, what would you two like to do now?
Well, they obviously aren't here. So, let's grab some money and go and buy some shit.
Wonderful. And you guys want to start making your way down the ramp, or do you want to take the beaten route? Maybe find this dead end that Abercrombie lost this individual in.
I think that's the way we'll probably go, yeah.
Do you want to try to find the dead end?
Yeah.
Bet. Where would you like to look? Would you like to look down in the market, or do you want to try going down and then hopping off into the side alleys to search? Or you could just go ask
Mm.
people if there's only, this is a city that you've walked around quite a bit now. Nowhere is really a dead end unless you go into a house. Um, So off the top of your head, I don't think you could think of anywhere, or even like looking down at the lower terraces, you wouldn't be able to see anywhere that like
That
becomes
would like
blocked. Yeah,
okay.
because you wouldn't be able
Um
to see down over everything from the second tier.
yeah, I think we'll go down to the marketplace and ask around a little bit and like I said, I still got my bag of money. So
Yeah. Um, so I think at this point, as you guys are walking down the main like ramp and road for this town, we're gonna cut back to Oog and Buford in the market. And they go through, pick up some fish, pay for it, start eating and wandering around, seeing what there is really to buy. And they go through and they see a person that's selling seemingly clothing made out of some type of yarn. You see a place called the Spitfire Forge, and you see a rather young looking elf working it at this time of day. And they're just going at it at a knife, maybe a sword, something over the forge and coals, and you see a wide array of maces, swords, daggers of many calibers and varieties, though they don't look like they were forged here or necessarily by them. They definitely have stock. You would see a few sets of like chainmail armor, maybe a full set of uh oh fuck platinum armor. You would see one full set of that out front on like display specifically, and you would very much notice out in front of this forge has a very large cast iron beaver that seems to be breathing either a fireball or like a spitfire of some nature. Um, and then I think at that point you would see the Baker's Brew, which, whereas it might sound like a brewery or meadery or something with alcohol, it's actually a bakery with some very fresh loaves of bread, croissants, maybe even some cinnamon rolls and pound cake or some sweet rolls laying out, wafting the market, filling the entire space with their sweet scent.
Mm.
What would you like to do?
Hmm.
Beeline for the cinnamon rolls and sweet rolls.
I'm gonna follow the boy.
Alrighty, you beeline it over to the end of the opposite side of the dock, mind you, and this is a big crescent shape cove dock that is made as you look back up at the town. It almost looks as if they carved out an entire mountain to build this one
Mm.
town. But as you make it to the other side, to the Baker's Brew, you are then presented with all of these pastries, fresh breads, maybe some jams on like little shelves to the side that are for sale. And you just see this very battle scarred and really boxy, rugged face orc with a little tray of muffins, just walking out, setting them down, walking back in, getting his next whatever batch of. What would you like to do?
Excuse me, good sir.
Oh, oh, hmm, hmm, yes.
I could not help but smell the magnificence of your, I presume, cinnamon rolls and sweet buns from across the market. I must have at least a half dozen of each, my good sir.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I can make that up for you right now. Just 3 silver. And he like walks away without even looking to see if you have money or anything, and he
I will pull
starts like
4.
putting pastries in a little paper black bag that has baker's brew and a little like mug with a loaf of bread sticking out for the emblem of the shop logo, I suppose.
I will pull 4 silver and exchange the bag for the 4 silver with this good man.
Here you go. And you guys exchange the bag of, I'm gonna say you put like 4 cinnamon rolls, 6 sweet buns, and maybe a baguette because he's not great at counting. Um,
Hmm.
but anyway, you make your exchange. You got your sweetbreads. What would you like to do now?
Um,
Is there anything else I can get you today? Would you like some jam? We have some jam.
what kind of jams do you have, my good sir?
Give me a second. He like pulls out a list. Raspberry.
Just raspberry?
Yes.
I'll take a jar.
Wonderful. And he like hands you a jar and walks away back to his work. Doesn't even say anything about money.
That sneaky bastard.
Um,
I would like to now go to Oog, what would you like to do? I kind of want to. I would like to go to the forge and see if they got some knives. I've kind of had my brain on, but I got time, and I've kind of been dragging you around the market.
So far, this has been very entertaining.
So blacksmiths,
Blacksmiths.
blacksmiths.
Variety. So I think at this point, Tulio and Kronk would be entering the market, and with where these are positioned, you have the baker on the far western or northern crest of the cove. The Spitfire Forge is like right next to the main road up, with its counterpart across the way, uh, the Dragon's Tongue, which is another bar similar to the Copperhead, just on the lower terrace and districts. Um, uh, so as you guys are coming up to the Spitfire Forge, Kronk and Tulio, you would notice Buford with this giant paper bag, like same size as his torso, and probably like one of the pastries in his hand as he's eating and walking. And you just see Oog
Just,
regally walking behind him, trying to keep up.
I would
Very
imagine it's
long
a
strides,
cinnamon.
long strides.
I'd imagine it's one of the cinnamon rolls, and I've got icing or cinnamon all over my face.
He looks like he just stuck his face in a cocaine pile.
Yeah.
Got it. I could imagine.
The
Just
better part is that Kronk was worried.
well, at least the kid's all right.
He's really starting to grow on you, isn't he?
Oh, shut up.
You would admit nothing.
Well, I mean, we have had to protect his ass, and it, well, I mean, I'm not lying. We have, but he's kind of done something to help. I'll think of something. But yeah,
But yeah, at this point you'd be able to walk up to them because they're very focused on like browsing the forge's stock that they have out front. Uh, I don't think you'd be able to get the young elf's attention at this time because he is like at it. He is really working whatever he's working.
No Mama Juju, where he can just sort of spit and it becomes magical, but
Yeah. Kind of disappointing.
Did you say that out loud?
no.
Okay.
I think he did.
I try to keep in character whenever I'm talking out loud.
That is fair. That's why I had to ask. Um, but yes, what would you two like to do? I'll let you have first interaction if you want.
All right. Well, I think I'm
I
gonna
start-
go ahead and walk in and tell Buford all these things are a little big for you, ain't they, son?
Turns around,
Oh.
paw.
Oh, oh, hey guys.
Tyler, give me a wisdom check.
Whiz check. Okay. Rolling. A 17.
Damn. I wanted you to roll bad, honestly. Then yeah, you're fully aware that it is Kronk making these comments behind you as he walks up outside of your gaze. If you rolled bad, I was gonna make you be like, with the stern voice and the phrasing, you have a flashback and you think for a second your father might be standing behind you. But no, you rolled well enough. Damn, can't give you daddy issues.
Give
Not
it a minute.
yet.
Not yet.
They're
It's
deep
still
seated.
early.
All right. Hey guys, you want a sweet roll or cinnamon roll? I just got some from a kick-ass baker down here in the market.
I'll
As
take a
you
sweet
say
roll.
that, Buford, you look in your bag and all of the sweet rolls are gone, and there's only like 2 muffins and 2 croissants. As Tulio asked for a sweet roll.
Well, I don't think the baker gave me what I asked for.
He gave you a lot of extra shit, honestly.
All right, Tulio, let's go over and grab some food. Come on, Oog, because Buford likes to eat everything. Breakfast is on me this morning.
Never put
Buford,
down free food.
sit here and shop. We'll be back.
This is utterly hilarious.
But yeah, you could go down to, since you already have kind of scoped out the area, Kronk, you would know where everything is, at least by name, and you would definitely be able to smell the bakery at the north side of the cove, and I think you might smell a particularly well-seasoned something coming from the dragon's tongue.
You keep saying he was scouting
Can-
last night, and I remember us drinking, and so all I'm thinking is just like drunk Kronk doing the theme song and like just bouncing around from shadow to shadow.
That would have been perfect,
That would have been
honestly.
great
been
if I wouldn't have
hilarious.
fucking rolled almost fucking perfect and woke up
Where
to
he
the
was
weird
like very
shit.
loudly yelling his theme song while trying to be sneaky.
I
Yeah, dude.
honestly
If I
wanted to
wouldn't
do that to
if
wake
I
you up
wouldn't have
to
rolled
have,
good,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, 100%.
that's how it would have gone. But I unfortunately rolled really good.
He was rolling well that night.
Oh,
But yeah, where do you want to go get food?
can I identify what this other smell might be?
You know it's seafood, but you don't know of what type, but it is sea, like salty meat, sweet smell.
Okay.
I don't think you've necessarily had this though, so you wouldn't have any reference. You would definitely recognize the like basic fish that they have out on the uh I say it's like a fish cart, but it's like a whole dock full of like fish bins and freshly caught fish with a vendor
Fish market.
essentially right outside of it that has like fresh sushi, grilled fish, you name it.
Right.
But yeah,
Okay. Well, then I am going to hand Tulio some cash or some coin, I guess. Send him on his way to the baker.
How much cash did I receive to go to the baker?
How much would you say I picked up?
A
knowing
bag?
Kronk, you have like 500 gold on you right now. Like you have a bag, like money bag on your waist that you don't really notice
I
because it's
give
no weight
I
to you.
give him like 60 gold. Tell him to buy whatever he can for the baker.
Got it.
He takes off in a cloud of dust. And you just see, because you can still see the baker from where you're at along the cove, and you just see him like corporeally form himself over there from turning into a dusty shadow over here. Almost instantaneously, like puff puff.
Impressive. Come on, Oog, let's go and eat whatever the fuck this is. It smells weird.
Agreed. It's time for a snack.
And then we'll go over to. You said it was the
Dragon's tongue for down here.
Dragon's Tongue.
Yeah. The
Okay.
Copperhead is the bar higher up in the districts, whereas down here you have the Dragon's Tongue that's right on the port, ready, probably where most of the sailors go to drink and whatnot. But yeah, this is a bussin', poppin', like busy place right now.
Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. We're gonna go to the Dragon's Tongue bar and get some food.
Alrighty. Um, Tulio, before they go in there, what are you getting at the bakery? Because yeah, as you appear out front, you just see the same, well, not old, but definitely middle-aged, battle-scarred orc, just with his little trays and his bakery goods, doing his thing.
Hello. Can I get 4 sweet rolls and 4 cinnamon rolls?
Oh, yeah, of course. And he like walks away, starts bagging. I'm gonna say he gives you 5 sweet rolls, 3 croissants, and 2 muffins. And just walks back and he's like, 1 silver, please.
Oh, and real quick, could I get a couple of those? You said he gave you sweet rolls. Point at the cinnamon rolls.
He just looks over, like picks 2 up with one hand and just like puts them in the bag and he's like, 2 silver.
Hand him 2 silver.
Wonderful. He hands you your bag of your varied baked goods. Um, is there anything else I can get you?
Nope, that is perfect. Thank you very much.
Cocksucker, I gave you so much money.
You sure you don't want any jam? We have jam.
What kinds of jam do you have?
He pulls out his list again. Strawberry.
I'll have some strawberry.
Wonderful. He hands you a jar and just walks away.
Add the strawberry to my bag and head on out.
Wonderful. And yes, we're going to jump over to Kronk and Oog, who are walking into the Dragon's Tongue. So, this bar very definitely has a theme when you walk in. It is very much a fisherman's bar with nets and like old ship wheels and maybe like remnants of old ships that have crashed recently up on the wall. Uh, think very 49th Street or whatever that place is called. Um, like a bunch of
Okay.
Crab
niche,
Shack.
bunch of random crap on the wall,
Steam
nets.
grill and bar.
Yeah,
Okay.
think
Yeah.
that.
So Joe's Crab Shack.
Yeah, sure. um, and as you walk in, you just see this massive 100% like hunter thing of meat on a bone just rotating on a spit in the middle of this bar and grill spit fire thing. And you see three red imps just standing there. One's rotating it, one's throwing seasoning, and one has like a brush and some mysterious liquid that he's like painting on and slash throwing on him and his others as they're making this most delicious looking meat you've ever seen. And there's like four tables in each corner of this 12 by 12 area. It's not a very big place.
You said it's pretty packed?
The bar itself only has the three imps cooking right now. The bar that's like back behind the Spitfire and the four tables in each corner are barren, empty.
Okay.
Hmm.
But yeah, the imps do not seem to notice you at all.
Well, I guess we'll walk up to the bar then.
As
Seems like a
you
good way to get a drink.
fair. As you two walk in and around the Spitfire and these three red imps doing their thing, you sit down and almost in a plume of white fluffy cloud and honestly like sprinkles, like legitimate sugar sprinkles, just poofs, and you see this very tall, slender, horned being with black skin and red hued eyes. Very intimidating looking, appear in front of you and simply puts down three very classic 60s styles milkshakes in front of you. Have you come in for a drink?
Indeed,
Well,
good sir. Can I get a
well,
snack with one of these?
yeah, that meat also smells delicious.
Indeed.
Well, if you would like some food, I can bring you some, or you could take your chances with the Imps challenge.
What's the
What's the
challenge, do you tell?
challenge?
Oh, simple. He like flips a very large chef's knife between its fingers, grabs it, blade down, stabs it into the counter. Simple, really. Get the imp's meat. He lets go of the knife and gestures to it.
I
Kronk,
look
do
at
you really
dude.
want to play these games?
Now, I will
Well,
specify, if you cut my imps, I cut you. But their meat is purely protected by them. Very, very much free if you can get it.
What happens if they accidentally get poisoned?
so what if your imps cut me?
That, my friend, is what we call the challenge.
Hmm. I'll take him up on the challenge.
Fuck
Pull
it.
the knife
I'm gonna do
from
this
the
challenge.
table.
I'm gonna laugh when they pursue you until you're dead.
As you like verbally say you will take the challenge, the bartender simply gestures towards the knife and is waiting for one of you to take it.
Take the knife first, and I look at Kronk and I'm like, me first? Then you can laugh.
I will say you can try together, but it'll be more difficult. I'd suggest one at a time.
I feel like it's more sporting one at a time, personally.
Yes, I like you. You have a
As you
certain level of
wish.
class.
Have fun, Oog.
Take the knife, and I rub both flats on my head.
Okay.
And I
Um,
proceed towards the imps.
Oh, what an asshole.
so Kronk, as you say that, are you looking at like the imps and Oog, or are you looking at the bartender?
No, I'm looking at Oog
Okay.
when I say that.
No, I know that
Yeah.
regardless, it's directed at Oog, but you could say that like to the bartender, like he's a fucking asshole, and just like go back to your drink or whatever. But I was curious if you like turned away from the bar or not.
Oh, no, yeah. So I'm saying it to Oog, but the bartender definitely fucking probably knows that something's fucking up the way I said it.
Oh yeah, no.
And then I'd like to ask the bartender, well, I guess I'll just get something to eat, because if he touches that meat with them plates, it's just fucked.
Uh, uh, Again, I'm more of asking, did you like turn away from the bar to
No,
tell Oog that, or you're just straight staring at
no,
the bar? Okay.
just straight staring at the bar.
Okay. Um, why, of course, he reaches underneath the counter and pulls out a 2-inch, well, or medium, my words are failing me. He gets you a steak. Not quite as good as the meat that it looks on behind you, but very much an adequate steak with your milkshake. um, and Oog, I'm gonna need you to give me a
Ooh, steak.
performance check.
I'd like to remove my gloves
Okay,
and stick them in my belt.
go for it.
All right. Performance roll. See, add my modifier.
Correct.
Uh, da, 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 da.
Looks like your performance is +4.
21.
So I'll let you have the flair. So is there anything specific you want to do or have done?
I'm just marching straight towards meat with the knife the bartender had in one hand and my other one outstretched. I intend to parry every attack and slap them on the bottom if I get the opportunity with the flat of the blade.
Okay. So are you gonna try to attack the imps or the meat? What's your target?
If I can see a straight in attack at the meat, I'll take it. But if I see they're gonna come at me, I'm going to parry their blows.
So with how this spit is set up, you can really only get at it on either side of it, which you have imps in the way. They don't seem to be paying you any mind at all as you approach, but you would very much have to move them in some way to get to the meat, unless you want to try to walk through the fire.
Hmm. I don't have fire resistance yet. Mm. Sure, fuck it. I'm gonna try and walk through the fire.
Give me a will save.
The 10. Plus, I don't know if I have a modifier for that one.
I don't think so.
Would it
Or
be
yeah, you have saving throw modifiers, wisdom +3, so 13. Okay. So walking over hot coals is probably something you found in like the ancient texts back when you were going either through training or school, whatever you want to call it. Um, but you yourself have never attempted this feat, and you are an amphibious creature that kind of needs to stay moist. But you know it is possible some way.
I go into a Zen trance and I proceed to try and snuff out the coals with each step. As if I'm
Okay.
marching through the coals.
So I think after this experience, you will definitely know how it is done, but I don't think you quite put two and two together until it quite happens. So you see that there is a clear way to walk to the meat without having to interact with the imps directly. As you take your first few steps out into the coals, it's not too bad. You hear a bit of a sizzle and a bit of a stinging sensation to the nostrils, really. It's not really a smell, it's just a like
You
someone stabbing your nose with a dagger. But after the third step, your feet begin to burn because all of your mucus has been evaporated. I will give you a reactionary chance to either try and jump out of the coals or you can try and tank it and just go for the meat.
tank it and go for the meat.
Bet. Let me roll damage. Can you take 10 damage? Yeah, you can.
Yes.
So your feet are charring at this point and very much past the point of leather, but you get within striking distance of the meat and give me a yeah, roll to hit.
Damn it, 3.
That does not, oh,
Yeah, no, that doesn't do shit.
but it works. So as you go and try to get your clean cut from the meat, from your coal bed side, you miss, come down, and it looks like you're about to cut one of the imps. And knowing the deal you've already made and the honor you would lose from hurting someone, not only not necessarily fighting back armed, but someone serving you would be especially bad. And so you do like a side barrel roll to pull the blade back up. And again, you almost hit the meat, but you just slide the edge of it and miss and ting off the like metal frame holding this bone up and fall to the side right behind the imp that is throwing seasoning on. And I think a little bit of salt maybe like falls onto your arm and sizzles.
Well, now I'm getting seasoned.
But yes, you are laying there on the ground with burnt feet.
Well, this is uncomfortable. So I'm on the tavern floor.
Correct. You're looking up at a imp's ass. This would be the first time that you've been this close to a imp's rear end, and you would just now notice that they have hooves instead of feet.
Well, those would hurt in a fight. Well, I crawl back over to the bar. I
Mhm.
hand back the knife. You might want to clean that first. Can I get a glass of water?
He takes the
I
knife
lose.
from you, sets down a water. As he picks up the knife, it glows with just a bright white hue, and any of the purple mucus that would have still been on it just vanishes. He sheathes it into his apron and sets out a steak similar to the one that is now 3/4 eaten by Kronk.
I dribble the glass of water on my feet. And then proceed to dig into the steak and then look over at Kronk and be like, your turn?
Kronk.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm back. Oh shit.
I got back from failing to get the meat. Return the knife, and I look over at you as I dig into a steak the bartender hands me. And I'm like, your turn?
No. I heard that
What?
righteous ass beating you took.
Weak.
I don't need weak. Well, now I'm already eating. I'm good.
Hmm.
As he
You're
looks down at
boring.
his 3/4 eaten steak and half drank milkshake.
Actually, I think I will take on this challenge. I pick up the knife. I walk on over.
Give me a dexterity check. You don't get to know why, just give me a dex check.
Ooh, that was so close. Okay. Ooh, almost fell off my fucking desk. Okay. You said Dex.
Correct.
It's 18.
Wonderful. So, as you go to reach for the knife, I think you missed the part where the bartender sheathed it in his apron. The hilt is still sticking out, and as soon as Oog makes his statement, you just reach over the bar, pull it out of his apron, and just start going for it. Well, how would you like to go after the meat?
Wait, I got this. Hey, Imps. And I take out a handful of money and I throw it at him.
Using the patented big boy golden money pants move.
Imps love fucking cash. It's not my fault.
So where are you throwing this? Are you throwing it like down at
So
their
I'm
feet or
I'm
like off to the
throwing it
side?
so like it'll go past their faces so like they'll see it, but it's out of reach for them.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna say you throw it, and the one that's at the end turning it kind of looks at you and is like, "Think this is our first rodeo? Gotta use a lot more than that to get this meat."
Well, how much you talking?
Give me a persuasion check.
I look on in disgust.
Fuck yeah. That's 25.
The imp looks at you. 20,000 gold.
Oh,
Can
well,
you afford that, big
of
boy?
course I can afford it. Do I have it on me right now? Not so much.
Guess
You
you
think
won't get it that
someone
way
just
then.
stupid enough to walk around with 20K?
And earlier you threw like 20 gold over them and it landed behind them on the floor, but as soon as you take your eyes off of it, it disappears.
Got it.
Would you like to attempt in any other way? The bartender japes behind you.
I'm laughing in the background.
No,
Shut
it's
up,
not in the
Oob.
background.
Shut up, Oob. Better than you did.
I was honorable and straightforward.
Paying for it is pretty fucking straightforward, too,
This is a
without having
challenge. Paying for it would be going through the
further.
bartender, sir, not a challenge.
He
Alright,
has a point.
fine.
There are
It was-
channels for gold, there are channels for not gold. This is not a channel for gold, you nitwit.
I guess I just reach out and take the fucking meat.
Give me a. If you just want to reach for the meat, give me a dex check.
16.
So you reach out, and you're easily like 4, maybe even 5 foot taller than these imps. You reach out over the one that's throwing the seasoning onto the meat to simply grab, and this imp, I don't think you notice, but it just slowly gets shorter and then springs up with so much force that your hand is knocked up, back, and behind you. And
I'd like
actually,
to keep the fucking momentum going and bring it back around and smack it in the ass.
give me another dex check.
7.
So, as it lands back in its position and continues to throw seasoning, your hand comes back around, slaps it square on the ass, but it's not going to do any damage, and I think the imp is just going to go real blush and like try not to look at you anymore. Give me a What's your passive perception? I can look.
Passive perception is 15. No.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
15.
yeah, passive perception is 15. Um, so I think you would be able to hear under the imp's breath. After work.
The cart's up the way.
Is there anything else you would like to do other than flirt with this imp?
I guess I'll go and sit back down at the bar.
I look over and I'm like, not a bad choice, boy.
That is wonderful. Now, Buford and Tulio. We've had enough of their shenanigans. You guys are out front. Tulio has just gotten his pastries. What would you two like to be doing next?
Well, I was told to go meet back up at the forge with Buford, so that's where I'm gonna head.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm you wanted to go back there after the bakery. So yeah, what would you two like to be doing? Because I think if you wanted to just chill there at the forge and shop, we definitely can, but you can definitely hear in the background that there is a ruckus going on in the wonderful Dragon's Tongue.
Yeah, we know that that's where the other two went.
Mm-hmm. You
All
very
right,
much,
Buford. I think they forgot about us. Let's go see what they're doing.
he may have nodded off again.
That
Not a
is
Um,
go
fair.
check.
It's usually about the time that that starts happening.
yeah. I was gonna try and get us at least through this day, and then we can call it for the session. Um, so yes, I'm gonna say Buford's just along for the ride at this point until he pipes up again.
I can weekend at Bernie's him if we just get him drunk at the bar.
Ooh, no. I think when you come back from the baker's, you find Buford already passed out.
I was just
Yeah,
asleep.
he's out cold.
Just passed out in front of the dragon, or no, the Spitfire Forge across the street from the Dragon Tongue on the other side of the street from the main road up. Um, you just see him passed out like on the beaver statue, like right below the fireball.
I know what to do. So he's gonna have to say thank you for this when he wakes up. I'm going to use my summon shadow spawn, and I'll use happy as the emotion.
I
All right,
was
carry
really
him
hoping you were
back
gonna
to the
say
cot and put
animate
him back in
core.
his pile of furs, please.
You see your jester-esque shadow form appear with the biggest smile, crest to crest. I can't say ear to ear because it doesn't have ears, but um, I would say
'Cause I think
Buford.
it should have enough strength to carry him.
Yeah, no, I'm not thinking about that. I'm more of trying to think of like how I want to describe this because this isn't the first time that the request has been made, so it's a repeated act that the shadow puppet would have not necessarily advantage, but record of doing before, so it wouldn't be a hard task, but I think this time instead of it being like shadow strings with your shadow puppet controlling his body, it's more of the shadow walks over to his body and like falls and fades into the same shape and form that Buford is taking while he's napping, and then his body just like jerkily gets up like a very poorly coded automaton, and you just see him like slowly stretch out, wiggle, and it's smoother, but it's still stiff, like he's in a full like military lineup as he marches back to the cart up the way. People definitely see this, like all of this. You just walk back and you're like, hmm. You're definitely getting a lot of looks from the locals, the fishermen. Uh, yeah, they're definitely more uncomfortable than they normally would be around you.
Understandable. Yeah, I'm gonna head on into the bar.
Wonderful. As you walk in, you can smell the fabulous meat that they are cooking, as well as a very pungent scent that doesn't necessarily belong to anything, but it's stabbing your nose with ferocity. Not a
Burnt
good
oog.
smell.
Hmm.
I hope
and
that that one smell isn't what's cooking.
and you see Oog and Kronk at the bar enjoying their steaks, and there seems to be an extra milkshake on the bar waiting.
Ooh, delightful. Oh yeah. Buford completely passed out, so I sent him back to the cot.
Good call.
There's probably where I'll be heading next.
So what's with the giant spit in the center?
Good luck.
You just hear
Have
the
fun.
imps behind you snickering and like laughing, except for the one which is still kind of like silent and bashful and not trying to look at the party, but definitely looking at the party since you walked in.
Just side-eyeing Kronk.
Uh-huh, 100%. Um, and yes, in front of you, I think you would be very familiar with these types of people, let's say.
Hmm.
The bartender, whereas different from your kind, also very much the same. He looks
Okay.
at you. Oh, an off color. Today's my lucky day. What can I serve you?
Well, you've already got me a milkshake, and they were telling me good luck about about this giant spit in the center. What's going on with that?
A conniving, if not just mischievous grin comes about their face. He unsheathes the very much oversized, like chef's knife from his apron. Once again, twirls it between his fingers, as some of you have seen before, and stabs it into the counter. Why, it's the Imps challenge. Simply get the Imps meat without harming them.
I'll give it a go.
Wonderful. How would you like to acquire the meat?
Do I have to use the knife?
Not necessarily, but I would suggest it.
Hmm. Use that thingy. So let's do a different thing. Da-da-da-da. Dealing with Emperor. All right. I'm gonna walk up to where like all three of the imps can see me, and hypnotic pattern, and then go for a slice at the meat.
Bet. What exactly does hypnotic pattern say?
I'll pull up the exact wording. This hypnotic pattern. I know it's one. It's stuff that people have to look at.
Yeah.
So I know that it'll affect the people who are watching.
It's usually throw some mildly shiny handful of things.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't.
Holy shit, he lives.
And it's just jumping up on me. It's not like I'm slow fading. I'm just opening my eyes all of a sudden, and you guys have moved on with the story.
Yeah, you're
If it
good.
makes you feel any better,
Yeah.
we did get you back to the cart, maybe safely. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I heard that part. I appreciates it.
Hey,
Mhm.
dude, it's fine. I'm lucky
Let's
I woke
see.
up when they called
Each
my name.
creature in the area who sees the pattern must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature becomes charmed for the duration. While charmed by the spell, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0.
Okay, what is the save?
So let's see.
What's your
Remember
DC?
question I needed. That should be on the thingy actually.
Mm-hmm.
16.
Bet. Alrighty. So you cast the pattern. How does it
And I
look?
wasn't checking. It's like it's like just this quick like little flashes of like this purple light with like a small black spiral in the center.
Bet. And Kronk and Oog, are you watching?
Mm-hmm.
Then you gotta take the save too. Beat a 16.
It's a
Beat a
will save.
16?
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save, yeah.
Fuck, I'm almost positive I didn't beat that.
Don't worry, it doesn't do anything bad to you. You'll just be sitting there going, "Ooh, pretty
13.
color."
So-
distraction.
You definitely notice your companions get fully entranced by this. Pretty colors.
I wasn't paying attention to if it hit the imps or not. Like I said, I was casting it and then just going for a slice at the meat.
Mm-hmm. And I will require a attack.
Gotcha. Is there any plus to the knife at all, or is it just straight D20?
Just a
Like, would
straight
it be ruled a
D20.
D20? 15.
Okay. I think you're able to stab the meat, but as soon as you do, one of the imps grabs your arm and essentially does, well, you didn't see it, but the same move they did on Kronk, they just slowly lowered as you were casting and was getting ready to jump for your arm to knock it out of the way. However, you do manage to stab the knife into the meat before they knock your hand up and out of the way. The knife is still in the meat though, but you are not holding it.
Okay. Gonna go and grab the knife and try to like take the knife up to like cut like a nice little to like start cutting a chunk.
Give me a dex check.
Yup.
Because with how fast this is moving, I have a really good idea of how it'll play out, but I need that first.
That's an 11 plus with dexterity. That's 5, so 16.
Wonderful. So as the imp shoots up and again like headbutts, rockets your arm out of the way, you come back in for another grab and slice up. At the same time, the imp is still up in the air and it does this little flip and then kicks off the roof right back down at you. Except this time it's going for a full on tackle or grapple on you. And I'm gonna need you to do a what do I want to make that? Give me a strength save to see if you can stand your ground.
Yep.
Because if you can stand your ground, I'll give you the cut for the meat. But
Let's.
you gotta beat my rocket
And what
imps.
and what was the check that I was rolling? I rolled a 16, so I need to know what I'm adding to it.
Fair. Strength.
Strength, so that'll be my weakest ones. 18.
Wonderful. So you're not able to keep your ground, and you are knocked prone with this imp like essentially becoming a belt around you, wrapping you as you fall. However, you do manage to cut a bit of the meat off. However, it falls down into the coals and immediately goes up in flame.
Alright. So I'm assuming I have the imp just grappled around me
Yes,
currently.
you're currently grappled on the ground, and yeah, he's essentially just like hugging you now. He's not trying to do any form of harm or damage. He's just like, now we're on the ground now.
Right.
Now what, big boy?
I'll say I won't say he's big enough to like stop you from getting up if you really wanted. He's just wrapped around you.
Right. I'm trying to think of how I'm gonna get out of here without hurting the little bastard.
I'll say the
Pickle attack.
Am I able to like break his grapple without like attacking him?
yeah, you can do just basic wrestling moves, which would just be strength check. You would just have to say you don't want to hurt him. I'm just trying to get him off me, type of thing.
Yeah, that. I would just want to get him off me currently. Strength check, you said?
Yeah, that'll be straight
All right.
strength.
Straight strength.
Because you're like, he's on you and you're like pushing down on him, like get the fuck off.
17.
Wonderful. You are able to push the imp off of you. And I think in doing so, you like scoot your way along the floor back to the bar to Oog's feet, where you immediately know where that smell is coming from, because his feet now look like the coals that are in the fire, just not lit. But the imp like slides all the way down you and like down around your ankles and then off, gets up, dusts himself off, walks back over, picks up his bag of seasoning and starts throwing it again.
Is the knife still in the meat?
No, you were able to get the slice off whenever he grappled you, so it's still in your hand. You
Okay.
just don't have any meat.
All right, I'm gonna cast blur and go back for another slice at the meat.
Wonderful.
And that one is racial casting because I do know that I used up both of my skill slots. So that is the kale thingy that they
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yep. I'm gonna do that thingy.
Wunderbar.
So at least give me a little bit of a help, possibly.
I was about to say, I'm gonna say you can go for another strike with advantage with your blur.
All right. So for the strike, that is 16.
With your blur, how do you want to go at it?
I want to like I'm trying to go for like a triangular like shank of meat, so I just want to do like a couple quick slashes and try for that third one and then stab, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're going for.
Or even like 3 stabs to get like a shank.
Give me a quick dex save.
Gotcha. That's a nat 20.
Wonderful. I'm gonna say you're able to perfectly cut out this piece of meat while you still have your blur, but you're not able to get that final stab to pull it out. That'll require one more action.
Gotcha.
Because I have one more thing to do. But I need to know what you're doing.
Going for that last stab on the meat.
Wonderful. Roll to hit.
I'm gonna fuck that up right at the end. That's a 5 on the dice.
So you go for the stab, except this time I think you're able to fully you get the stab, it's fully in, and you go to like pull it out, and out of nowhere this haze of seasoning blinds you. And as soon as you're able to refocus and reconstitute your eyes, you feel the weight of the meat on your blade, and you're standing there thinking you're victorious as you're blinded, and you open your eyes just to see the imp with the seasonings right below you, eating the chunk of meat.
I'm laughing hysterically in the background.
If that imp didn't just roll a nat 20, I would have given that to you, honestly.
Well,
That's
So
hilarious.
It was a 14,
So
a
close.
13, and a 20.
To be fair, I did incapacitate the other 2, or at least possibly.
Honestly, none of them got affected by anything
Hypnotic
except
cannon.
for, yeah, except for the haze. The haze was the only thing that gave you an advantage because they are this is their one job, is to
Right.
make this hard. That is their purpose in this place. So if they're working, it's gonna be a challenge.
I'm gonna give one more try at the meat if that's all right.
Yeah, Give me one more attack
So strength
roll.
check.
Yeah.
So with strength, that's 11. That's 13 for strength, and then attack roll is 15 on the dice. No buffs. And then, is there another roll that I needed to do?
Nah, that'll be good.
Okay.
Okay, hey, real quick before he does that, I'd like to get up from the bar and head back to the cart.
Mhm.
And as I do, I'd like to smack that imp on the ass as I'm walking by.
Okay. Um. So I'm gonna do this. As Tulio's getting ready for his next attempt, because nobody said that you had any limit of how much you can try. Um. As Kronk walks by and Tulio's like standing there thinking of his next strategy, Kronk just slides on by him, slap that imp on the ass, walks out, and as you're standing there, Tulio, the imp just looks behind him at the bartender, looks back at the bag, looks back at the bartender. Oog, you would notice a slight like smirk and nod from the bartender as the imp gently puts down the bag of seasoning and walks out of the bar.
You're welcome,
Go and
Tulio.
get it. Go and get it.
So Tulio, you have one less
Yeah.
obstacle per
Yeah.
se. Let ugh. Okay. So as you just going for another straight thrust in to get that piece that's still
Ye-
dangling?
Yeah.
Bet. Um, as you thrust for it and get it, you retract the knife, grab the meat, but as soon as you do, one of the imp essentially teleports in front of you in a flash of powdered sugar dust. He just hops up, grabs the knife, leaves you with the meat, and poofs again. Congratulations. You've acquired the imp's meat. Would you like to eat it as they prepared it, or would you like me to plate it for you?
I'm gonna eat it like they prepared it.
Of course, sir. And as you're standing there triumphant with this, honestly, like oog head sized chunk of meat, how do you want to consume that?
Just like grab it, just take like a massive bite from it. Go sit at the bar. Chunk of meat in one hand. Milkshake in the other.
Like a
Hell
real man.
yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say
We're not getting
you.
drunk in the session. It's crazy.
Well.
Speak for yourself.
Alcoholic milkshakes, you know.
I, I whispered to the bartender to get me liquored up while you were fighting.
In like every milkshake in front of Oog, there's like 5 at this point while watching this interaction. You can smell the slight whiff of Bailey's off of like the last 5 out of the 10. But they're just lining up on the bar very neatly at this point. Um,
It was just like home.
Mm-hmm.
Tulio, give me an investigation check for this meat.
Yeah. Actually decent. So that is let's see, 14.
Wonderful. As you take your chunks or like giant bites out of your chunk of meat, someone's getting muted. Um, you find yourself in this mental space, separate from the physical realm that you were just in. You are surrounded in this vast, dark ocean, and all you can tell is a shadow in the distance is getting closer before you snap back to reality and the bar that you are standing or sitting in, uh, enjoying your milkshake with Oog.
Hmm. Don't like that. Well, I guess we might want to go after Kronk, but maybe leave his room be.
I'm just glad that my pot has a lid.
I'm gonna have to find somewhere to sleep and hopefully not cuddling with Buford.
So y'all wanna leave the bar and head back to the...
Head back to the cart and call it a night. Get my
Sounds
soak
like
on.
Wonderful. So as you guys leave the bar, you guys entered this bar at like 9 a.m., right? Pretty early in the morning. Day was just getting started. By the time you leave this bar, the sun has set, the moon has already risen. It's filling the bay in this beautiful light that offsets the orange ombre of the city. And all you can do whenever you're walking back up the main path is see Saf on top of the gate, staring almost directly down the center line from where you guys are at, but not necessarily at anything.
hmm.
Um, and yeah, that is your scene as you are coming out. The bay is still rather lively with other shops starting to wind down. You see the baker bringing his pastries that he left out to cool in for the night. And you would actually notice a few people starting to work their way over to the Dragon's Ton and maybe up to the Copperhead as well on this evening when you head back towards the cart. But again, once you get up to like the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth terraces, it very much goes back to that barren, no one is really here vibe until you make it back to the cart, and in which case you see the back of it just bouncing.
Hmm.
How sleepy will I be if I chill out on the roof all night?
Oh no, that as long as you're like on or around the cart, you'll be perfectly fine, honestly. If you wanted, you could uh set up like a little hammock on the roof.
Because I kind of want to be on the roof, but I also want to like keep watch tonight. Is what I mean. Like keep myself like as
Aware.
inconspicuous as possible on the roof, but like
Mm-hmm.
since I was told that we had someone looking through our windows last night, rather
Ooh.
than going straight to bed, I'm wondering like will I just be like have a point of exhaustion in the morning until I like actually go to sleep, or like what would I be looking at as a penalty?
Um, Honestly, with your kind, I would say you can stay up for multiple days at a time as long as you have that like down, you're not necessarily exerting energy.
Okay.
Jafeel, since you are
Yeah.
Shadowkin,
Yeah.
staying up for multiple days would definitely be within your repertoire of comfort.
Okay. Because yeah, I definitely want to keep alert overnight and try to stay as inconspicuous on the roof as possible.
Yeah. But I say if you wanted, we could burn a style point and I can let you make a shadow cocoon that you can get in and out of.
That'll work. Go like full what's his name from My Hero?
Mm-hmm.
Eraserhead, just have my little sleeping bag but shadows.
Yes. I thought you were gonna go with I can't think of his name, but the Shadow Bird
Oh
hero.
yeah.
Yeah. But like whenever he cocoons the character to
Yeah, I
protect him.
completely forgot about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, my brain just immediately goes to very
Eraserhead is a
sleepy
lot. Yep.
looking dude who's just like laying there and he's completely aware of what's going on, but he's literally just like a looks like a yellow caterpillar on the ground.
Mm-hmm. I think that's much more appropriate for Julio, honestly. Because whereas you're not necessarily highborn to commoners, you definitely still have the the sun's up.
Yeah.
5 more minutes. um, but yes, we are gonna leave it off there, I believe, for this session, with everyone back at the cart, either Oog in his pot stewing with a fresh bat of water. We got Kronk possibly having some fun with his impish friend, and which he never got the name of, by the way.
How
But
rude.
it's an imp. They don't care that much. Um,
Names are different things.
mhm. And Tulio,
Buford
how do you
is
want Buford to be left? Because it was your shadow servant. It wouldn't be a new task, so I won't say he like got thrown off into the corner like some puppet. He was actually like the
yeah.
sentient
I'm
mind was
pretty
like,
sure
okay, I'm gonna
I
sleep
put him
here,
in his
and then
pile of I think I told if I'm remembering my exact words, I said put him in his pile of furs.
yeah. So yeah, I think you.
So
It's
however
not
the shadow
necessarily
puppet
well done. It really looks like your puppet walked Buford in, and then just face planted. So better than last time, but still not
he's
quite right.
learning. Good boy. He's learning.
And yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this session.
Nice. We got some grocery shopping out of the way. I ate some meat, found out that something's coming to kill us.
So far, no one's dead yet.
Not
Yeah.
yet.